going on, Jerome's? So the Minnesota Vikings finally have their future franchise quarterback in the building, JJ McCarthy, and of course him and Diamond Dallas Turner in the most transformative offseason in team history, leading the way on both sides of the ball. And so far through training camp, of course it's just practice. Talk about practice. Looks pretty good. Like I do think that Diamond Dallas Turner is going to be one of the best edge rushers in the game. And JJ McCarthy honestly looks like he could be the future of the franchise for many years to come at the most important position in all of sports. And also, sort of underrated is the relationship that he and Kevin O'Connell have already struck up. And that goes back through the draft process. Like when O'Connell, McCarthy were meeting, with the brass and stuff. Coach O'Connell, he's a guy that I'd run through a brick wall for, and I feel like that's a sentiment that prevails throughout the locker room. But of course, it is a work in progress, and so I'm guilty of this too. Like, I want to see JJ McCarthy, and I know it's like Christmas, we get our new toy, but sometimes you can't open the package right away. And yeah, you do have a Sling and Sam Darnold out there too, could be a solid bridge quarterback, although early on in training camp, it was a little bit of a near-rung thing. Like, McCarthy still has a ways to go, and we don't want to get him out there before he's ready to rock and roll, and that's something that Kevin O'Connell has been very conscious about. And going back to, Kevin O'Connell was an NFL quarterback. Like, he's seen guys get ruined before. Sam Darnold is also a highly drafted guy who played probably before he was ready with the Jets, and of course they're the Jets, but who knows, man. But you don't want to toss him to the Wolves because you might not get him back. You might David Carr him, and I fully understand that. But also, at the same time, JJ looks pretty damn good. Not gonna lie, man. Basically, yes. Is he still operating with the second team for the most part? Yes. But everything that O'Connell has put on his plate, McCarthy's looked pretty damn good at times. Now, yes, ups and downs in a border town. Ask about a diamond ring. Yeah, you're certainly going to have that with the rookie quarterback. He's not going to be perfect, and if that is your standard, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But so it goes back to Christian Ponder, as everything does, man. So McCarthy at practice, you could tell he has it. Like, he could play on this level. The stage is not too big for him. It's going to be no muss, no fuss. And even if it's not this year, the future is insanely bright with JJ McCarthy. When I saw Christian Ponder at Vikings training camp in 2011, you could kind of tell right away that this wasn't it, right? And just it's an amalgamation of things. Just the body language, the way that he got the team in and out of the huddle, the surety of himself at the line of scrimmage, making checks. Also, obviously throwing the ball, obviously accuracy, obviously making a decision under duress. It just wasn't there. And yeah, you could have chalked it up to, well, rookie in his first training camp, but at a certain point you can just tell. You can just tell that that's all it's going to be, and that's how it turned out, right? But McCarthy, again, the thing that stands out to me the most about McCarthy, decisiveness. Like, not the deer in headlights, and also the fact that he's up against the first-team defense quite a bit. And Brian Flores just loves nothing better than torturing a rookie. Obviously, it's a cooperative thing because they're on the same team. But getting him better means showing him as much insanity as possible. And McCarthy getting that ball out quick, generally with good decisions. And it is good, man. Long story longer, Paul Allen said that this is going to be a 3-horse race, and McCarthy may not even break camp as quarterback 2. I think that ship has sailed. I think McCarthy's firmly going to be quarterback 2. But the question is he going to be quarterback 1? I would say right now probably not. But also, that has much more to do with the way that Sam Darnold has rebounded than JJ McCarthy. I think McCarthy has steadily risen, but also, if Darnold wasn't ready and McCarthy wasn't ready, they're not just going to throw McCarthy out there. They probably would have started Nick Mullins. But the fact that both these guys are playing well, it's actually a really good problem to have, man. And yes, I think long term it is indeed going to be bad boys for life, because Darnold knows, like, this is a 1-year thing, and he wants to show up and show out to get paid somewhere else, and it's going to be fantastic. But this is an underrated thing too, because as we said before, there is an inherent competitive advantage if your head coach has an offensive background and also if he calls plays. Is that fair to defensive head coaches? No, it's not, but it is what it is. Because guess what? You're able to stay long-term with your quarterback. right? And that matters because if you're a defensive head coach, your OC is going to be working with the quarterback for the most part. And if that OC is worth his salt and the quarterback does well, he's going to be gone. He's going to be getting a head coaching job somewhere else, and then that quarterback starts all over and over and over again. Now, change isn't inherently bad, but having that continuity and be able to grow and progress together, that's really important. I mean, you look at Mahomes and Andy Reid. You look at don't want to say it. I really don't want to say it. Stupid-ass Sean Payton and Drew Brees allegedly had some success together. Belichick and Brady is an anomaly because Belichick is more of an all-encompassing coach as opposed, even though he came from a defensive background. But having O'Connell and McCarthy long-term, like this could be the combination for the next 10, 12, 15 years. And that's maybe a little bit putting the cart before the horse, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. These two could have success long-term at the two most important spots on the team, quarterback and head coach, right? It's pretty good, man. And the plan so far, you really got to respect, the way that Kevin O'Connell has gone about this, because I think O'Connell knows too. Like Kwesi and he are joined at the hip, and generally GM coaches, head coach combos don't get multiple bites at the apple in terms of selecting the future franchise, because if McCarthy busts out, chances are everyone's going to be fired, right? So you're taking care with this shot, and O'Connell also knows that, hey, if they hit it with McCarthy, having your quarterback, especially if your starting quarterback is on his rookie deal, like that's a great competitive advantage. And it could lead to Super Bowls. But O'Connell's playing with McCarthy so far, not babying him, treating McCarthy like a veteran quarterback. So sometimes coaches go too far the other direction, just like, oh, baby steps. Oh, little Timmy. Okay, no, just giving him a small fraction of the playbook, making sure he's going up against the slappies, making sure that everything goes into his favor, basically just pushing your thumb down on the scale, having the kid be born on third base and saying that he hit a triple, right? O'Connell is not doing that. Now, McCarthy has had some ups and downs. Notably, Friday was not a very good practice, but there's a lot to like. There's a lot of traits to build off of, and plus, it does seem like he is learning from mistakes and getting better every single day. All the cliches. Also, consistently throwing him against a first-team defense, and that's something that you notice too. Generally, it's been first-team defense against second-team offense, and first-team offense and Sam Darnold against the second-team defense. So I don't know if that's specifically to challenge McCarthy, or if it's a way for first team and second team to get better looks on each other. I don't know, but it is something that does stand out, because generally, even with camps with O'Connell before, it's been ones versus ones, best versus best, twos versus twos, and there certainly is some of that. But especially in team drill 11 on 11. It's been first team defense versus second team offense, and JJ McCarthy also challenging JJ to push the ball vertically. That's what stands out too. I mean, a lot of people assume just because he didn't throw the ball a ton in Michigan, because he didn't have to, that he just has a weak arm. That was the dumbest draft comp throughout this entire process. Oh, here's just Christian Ponder 2.0. That's lazy, idiotic draft process stuff. It's just really stupid, because JJ McCarthy has a hose for an arm. Like, he probably has, it's hard to quantify this, but he probably has as live of an arm as, it's going to sound blasphemous, but Mahomes. Yeah, I actually do think that McCarthy does have the velocity. He does have the pure arm strength of a Mahomes. Now, Mahomes, obviously, it's more about his creativity, ability to make plays off of platform, off of script. That's what matters the most, his decision-making too. But just in terms of pure arm mechanics, like, McCarthy's up there too. Like, McCarthy from 40 yards and in will threaten every single blade of grass. So all 40 yards of the field plus the 10 yards in the end zone, like, you have to be watching out for that, because a lot of his highlight throws and touchdowns have been, back corner of the end zone, where, frankly, I don't think the DB was expecting it, and he is challenging JJ to push the ball vertically. That's why you do see occasional mistakes. That's why you do see a couple interceptions here or there, because that's the thing about training camp too. You have to push the envelope. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, yes, checking it down, taking a profit, that's fine, but also that's gonna be there. You don't really need to practice that. How about figuring out what you can do with these receivers? How about pushing the envelope? How about, well, this window is going to close downfield in between 2 or 3 defenders. Let's see if I can hit it. right? And I feel like too many people come away with, oh, well, interception, blah, 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 blah. Now, it's really more about process, and as they've said many times. Also, O'Connell has said, like, he's giving McCarthy the full playbook, just like Sam Darnold, just like Nick Mullins, etc. It's like, this is not bite-sized chunks. This isn't him running like 12 plays. And as we said, like, McCarthy's experience in a pro-style system at Michigan, as well as him playing in a West Coast adjacent type scheme where he's under center a lot. A lot of college quarterbacks are not. They're usually in shotgun. I mean, that all gives him an edge in this competition. Also, his development just writ large as a quarterback here. I mean, just the being under center part, and just even though they've adjusted his footwork, mainly it's been out of shotgun, but him and his 3-5-7 step drops, him and his boot action, play action, half rollouts, full rollouts, all of that stuff, like, it's muscle memory. Whereas a lot of these shotgun quarterbacks from spread offenses who travel the 7-on-7 circuit, like, when they get to the NFL, sometimes it's their first time taking snaps under center aside from victory formation. Actually, some colleges like victory formation are in shotgun too. Anyways, but also, if you notice from the clips, McCarthy does have the freedom to audible at the line of scrimmage. And, I mean, some of the times it's not so great, but some of the times he checks into a money spot. Plus, what really stood out to me is there was one where Cashman had a free rush. Like, there was a miscommunication up front, and Cashman, it wasn't even on a delay blitz. It was just like a straight-up blitz. But McCarthy saw it. He reacted to it. He stood tall in the pocket, even though he wasn't going to get hit anyways. But I think that in a game situation, he would still do that. And he was ready to take a shot, and he delivered a strike. I think it was to Naylor. Yeah. But also, not giving McCarthy, the quarterback, one job before he's earned it, which, I don't know, it's like when the Bears just gave the job to Caleb Williams. Like, I understand, like, that was the plan all along, but, I mean, you got to put him through some work. Like, you're telling me that he's going to be your starting quarterback and you've never seen him in a practice? Talk about practice. And again, yeah, number one pick, sure. And, hey, if you have a sham competition, it's like, oh, he beat out Tyson Bagent. Great. Or he beat out Brett Rippon. Fantastic. Cool. But it's got to be a little something there. But either way, like, I love that O'Connell's not giving McCarthy the job before he's ready. And like I said, if Darnold was ass, thank you, but McCarthy wasn't ready, Nick Mullins would be starting. I truly believe that. I don't think that O'Connell would hesitate at all. But also, his timeline so far, it's pretty clear. It could be part of the plan, or it could be in conjunction with McCarthy doing well. So at OTAs, he was only with the third team. OTAs, mandatory minicamp, it was Darnold with the 1s, it was Mullins with the 2s, it was McCarthy with the 3s. That's it. That's it. Start of camp exclusively with the 2s. Like, Mullins has been with the 3s or out of sight, out of mind. Jaron Hall gets an odd rep here or there. It's been Darnold with the 1s. It's McCarthy exclusively with the 2s. And then every single day, he's going up against that first-team defense. And then Friday, he had 2 red zone reps with the 1s, which, and then Saturday, a 7-on-7 series with the 1s, which, 7-on-7 favors the offense anyways, but it is noteworthy that he was operating with Jefferson, with Addison out there, so there's something to watch for. But either way, I know we want this to happen, and it will, and it makes you feel good about the long term of the franchise. And whether it's Darnold, whether it's McCarthy this year, I'm fine, whatever. And like we said, for the first, this is one of the few quarterback competitions where both guys are playing well. Honestly, if Darnold had continued to struggle and JJ continued to progress, and I honestly would have felt fine starting him week 1. I think that still potentially could be in the offing. Like, what if Darnold's asked thank you in preseason, or what if JJ McCarthy's looking like CJ Stroud out there year 1? It's a possibility. But either way, this connection is going to be gorgeous, and I think that we're very lucky to have it long term. And whether the future is now or whether the future is the future, you got to feel good about it. You do. Like, JJ McCarthy is not like Christian Ponder. You can tell right away he has it. And we got this. Maybe not for life, but at least 10, 15 years. But that's it. Wow, that got ranty. Anyways, Kevin O'Connell is developing JJ McCarthy the right way. Let us know your thoughts. Our thoughts, you guys know what to do. Skol, production value.